Vicente.
No, it's because I'm thinking, like, how should we do it? Like, should we alternate? Like, should we all say the same thing?
Something. Yeah, because everybody's got the same over there. So who?
No, I mean, we're alternate.
I mean, if the wind is going in the right direction, it'll just stay there.
Can I see the extra sign?
The bad part is that it covers up the worker power system.
It says worker power on it.
Like this, do this.
See, but I'm a little taller than that, so it's like...
Yeah.
Just y'all in the picture. That's fine if you're there.
Well, it's
We're here to support.
we're here for who's got the sign sheet?
I've already been.
I just had somebody with them. Victoria. Oh, Maureen's got have it.
Yeah, I mean, like, hire an artist, man.
We don't sweat.
Glisten. Glisten. Yes, it's glisten.
Thank you, Tabia. That's what I was looking for. Yes.
Hey.
On the plus side, like ice chest with water, and then. I was trying to see if I could somehow score like a book.
Try to pack everything in when you can.
What army circle store can I hit up? Oh, there's one.
Hi, how are you?
Who's, do we know the words?
So Jordan was saying it's gonna be, I'm not sure, your first? Another person I'm trying to see if I asked one.
Hold on, let's check the framing real quick.
But it's like, he's the one that knows.
We have a gap right here, so I can go ahead and fill this gap. Or I'll
Fill the gap, mind the gap.
nice and compressed.
Yeah, it'd be good to get some AAPI folks here and see that.
Okay, so I think at the end we should do no more
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you everyone for coming today. My name is Jordan Greenslade. I'm the political lead with Worker Power. We're here today to talk about a bad bill in the state legislature, HB 2274, that deals with sports stadiums' use of taxpayer money. The last time we had a public conversation about sports stadiums using taxpayer money, the groups here today, AZNHPI, Tempe First, and Worker Power, stood up and said no to the bad deal for Coyotes in Tempe. We're also joined today by the Arizona AFL-CIO and Fuerte here with us. And with that, I'd like to introduce Senator Mendez, who has been a longtime advocate of working families and a fighter to make sure that development is responsive to the community.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm State Senator Juan Mendez, representing Legislative District 8. We are here because the Senate is posed to vote on HB 2274, a bill that deals with the creation of a special tax district for theme parks and stadiums. And of all things that we should be focusing on today or now, so let's be clear, this is a bad bill for many reasons, but specifically this bill reduces local control. It makes it easier for developers, like sports team owners of all people, to get tax money by cutting out our cities from the decision-making process, thereby cutting out the most accessible way for residents, our community, to weigh in on these decisions of giving away our tax money. These special districts that the bill HB 2274 would make easier to create do not put tax dollars back into our community. The creation of these would allow them to levy as much as 9% sales tax, which would go to the developers to recover, construction-related costs, and just to make them whole again when our communities go without services. So currently, this does not sound right for Arizona. This doesn't sound economically right. This doesn't sound how you build out a community. But currently, in order for a developer, like how the Coyotes were looking around to take advantage of this, to get this kind of deal, it would need approval from the city that wants to bring in this kind of project in. So they're cutting that out with this bill. And so cities and economists are increasingly recognizing that public investments in stadiums, those kinds of deals or projects, they fail to deliver on the promises of being an economic boon to the community. And the math for this kind of public investment just doesn't pan out for the cities. We're not the ones that get the good end of the deal in these kinds of deals. So why or who really is pushing to reduce local input? Tempe voters, who many of whom I represent at the state legislature, in a historic numbers, voted in a special election last May to reject the public subsidies the Coyotes were asking for to build their stadium in Tempe. So again, we have to ask why, and specifically who is pursuing the idea of reducing local input and local control. The ones who have, it's only going to end up being the ones who have a lot to gain from passing this kind of legislation are the developers, right, and big sports teams. They're the only ones who stand to develop from a theme park or a stadium. The former owner of the Coyotes recently said that they wanted to secure this type of special taxing districts for new entertainment districts in Phoenix. So, we know lots of people are waiting to take advantage of us. They're just, ready to jump in and start using our tax money to develop their projects. And that's why I'm here today, to communicate to everybody that HB 2274 must be voted down. Arizonans deserve better than helping businesses with our cities and towns' tax dollars. That's not what we were elected to do. We were elected to be stewards of tax money and make good investments that benefit us. And so with that, I'm going to pass it on to the next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Mendez. Next, I'd like to invite up Jessica Walburn, the Outreach Coordinator for AZ-NHPI. AZ-NHPI was a group that fought against the Coyotes in the public vote and played a major role in pushing back on them.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jessica Walburn, and I am with AZ-NHPI for Equity. As the Senate is getting ready to vote on HB 2274, we are gathering to voice our opposition. We helped organize Tempe residents to stand up against predatory development, and now these lawmakers want to make it harder for us to unite for our community members. Arizonans need livable wages, equitable solutions, and funding for schools, parks, and roads, not bills that will make it easier for wealthy developers and sports teams to come in and make residents cover their costs with increased taxes while taking away funds that would be allocated towards education and other community programs. This bill was supposed to be about the mental health of our first responders, but now it has been amended to prioritize theme parks and developers. Voters made their voices heard loud and clear in Tempe when the Coyotes were vying for tax breaks for their new stadium. They rejected the deal. With record-breaking turnout to oppose predatory development, tax breaks, and preserving their precious natural resources like water, now the developers are lobbying lawmakers to make it harder for residents and city managers to have a say in what goes in our cities. HB 2274 essentially removes cities from being guaranteed a role in the decision-making process. When it concerns theme parks and stadiums, taking away the decision-making power of cities, towns, and residents is wrong. Is this a developer trend? Quietly sneak an amendment or bill to the table, hoping nobody catches a whiff of it so it'll get passed? That's what Morello tried to do in Tempe, and we found out and we shut it down. The worst part is that still today, our unsheltered community members are suffering more because of that foul play. Tax breaks and the reallocation of funds going to stadiums instead of housing services and education is a prime example of the wealth gap crisis impacting our entire country. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So let's stop history from repeating itself and preserve local control of our cities by voting no on HB 2274. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. And next, I'd like to bring up Maggie Acosta, the Field Director for Worker Power, who led the Worker Power effort against the bad deal for the Coyotes back last year.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maggie Acosta, and I'm the Field Director with Worker Power. At Worker Power, one of our missions is ensuring that development actually benefits working families and that residents have a say in what that means. HB 2274 will make that mission harder. HB 2274 started out as a bill to make it easier for first responders to access PTSD benefits. However, a strike everything amendment has removed any support for first responders and transformed this bill into potential giveaways to sports team owners. HB 2274 will make it easier for sports team owners to get special tax districts. It does so by reducing city input on whether special tax districts can be set up to fund the construction of sports arenas. This tax revenue that could be going to fund schools, infrastructure parks, affordable housing, and many more things that our community needs. Instead, taxpayer money will be pocketed by these owners and used to pay down their construction costs. Last year, we partnered with groups here such as AA, HPI, and Tempe First to stop this massive taxpayer giveaway to the Coyotes. Voters resoundingly rejected the giveaway, and now it has become clear that the former Coyotes ownership would like to get one of this special tax district that HB 2274 deals with. However, it is clear that voters across the political spectrum are skeptical of tax money going to the construction of sports stadiums, and therefore we're calling on the state legislature to vote no on HB 2274.
So again, finally, I just want to thank our partners here today. Again, we brought back the coalition, Worker Power, AZ and HPI, Tempe First, that last year fought to hold sports owners accountable. And also want to thank the Arizona AFL-CIO, Lucha, and Fuerte as well for being here to hold these developers accountable. So with that, Vicente, Diego, can you send us away?
Yep, let's go. ¿Se puede?
¡Sí se puede!
¿Se puede?
¡Sí se puede! ¡Sí se puede! ¡Sí se puede! ¡Sí se puede!